The second season, or in this case, volume, of Star Wars Visions just released, so what better time than now to do a quick little video on it. As a fan of the animated art form, I am a sucker for these animated anthologies based on big movie franchises. Since the Animatrix, I've been drawn to the idea of using this tool as a means of telling small, independent stories across a larger shared universe. There are things you can do with this medium that simply can't be done in real life. Emotions you can tap into that can't be fully put into words. With the first volume of Star Wars Visions, we got to experience 9 stories told by 7 different Japanese animation studios. With Volume 2, Visions went global, gathering a total of 9 different studios from all over the world to tell their own Star Wars themed tales. So I decided to put together a ranking of these shorts. There were honestly no bad ones this season. In fact, the vast majority of these shorts I'd even call great, which made this rather difficult to put together. There also may be a few spoilers throughout. I'll assume anyone watching this has already seen the show, so just know that you've been warned. Number 9, Journey to the Dark Head. Animated by Studio Mir, Journey to the Dark Head is probably the safest entry on this list. It gives you exactly what one would expect from an animated Star Wars short, which I'm sure is fine for a lot of people, but I found it to be a bit bland in comparison to the rest. Maybe it's just because I've never been a fan of Jedi being depicted as emotionless religious zealots. I want more life in my characters, I want to feel something while watching them. It is carried though by some beautiful animated moments, and the design of the villain is one of the best Sith designs I've ever seen. Not amazing, but an enjoyable watch nonetheless. I don't love it, but I dig it for what it is. Number 8, In the Stars. Here's a nice little short that looks absolutely beautiful. Animated by Punk Robot, this short is 3D animated, but successfully captures the look of stop motion. It's a rebellious tale with an environmental message. I love it when Star Wars decides to follow alien species rather than humans, especially when we get to learn a bit more about their unique culture. I think that's something desperately missing from a lot of today's Star Wars content. There's a vast universe out there. I mean, why not explore it? Why not go beyond the Empire or the Rebellion and get creative with it? I didn't care for the Force elements as much, felt a little too cliche, but I think that has more to do with me being tired of it rather than the overall quality of the short. I quite enjoyed In the Stars. The beautiful animation alone made it worth the watch. Number 7, I Am Your Mother. We got Aardman up in this bitch. Do you ever wish Star Wars was more like a Goofy movie? Well, boy, do I got the short for you. This was a cute little short. It felt well realized, like something that could easily be adapted into a feature-length film. I also got to give them some credit for throwing in that Grand Day Out reference. This was my Spider-Man in Civil War moment. Not too much to say on this one. I quite enjoyed it and would like to see more stop-motion shorts like this in the future. Number 6, The Spy Dancer. Animated by Studio La Cachette, this here is another well-realized short that successfully tells us an effective story in just a short amount of time. I mean, I guess that's why they call it a short. This one is really carried by the beautiful 2D animation. It's not afraid to switch things up, utilizing a sketchy sort of free-form look at times. The story has an emotional core to it. It's something that could easily be expanded upon, but also succeeds at telling us all we need to know. Definitely check this one out. Number 5, The Pit. Who doesn't love a good rebellion story? The Pit, aka Holes, was animated by D'Art Shagio, and is all about taking a stand against oppression. Anyone who liked Andor is sure to get similar vibes from this. It's one of those stories that isn't restrained by being Star Wars. It's easy to follow and would work in a lot of different contexts. It's also nice to see a Star Wars tale that just follows average, everyday people that the Empire screwed over. Yes, there's a small hint at Jedi stuff near the end, but it wasn't enough to ruin it for me. Hard recommend, one of the better stories to come out of this franchise in recent years. It's simple, but effective. Number 4, Bandits of Golak. One of my absolute favorite aspects of Star Wars Visions is the shorts that take inspiration from a specific culture, creating a Star Wars experience unlike any other. Bandits of Golak does exactly this. Animated by 88 Pictures, this short combines what we know of Star Wars with elements of Indian culture. The short is a fun adventure that in a way reminds me of the prequels, but like the fun aspects of them. Its animation may not be as impressive as some of the others here, but I just really loved the unique look of the world. Even the music used here is inspired by Bollywood films, and it's just a really fun new take on the franchise. My only gripe being that I found the voice of the young girl to be a tad annoying, but that's such a petty thing to complain about. I don't think this will rank quite as high on other people's lists, but I sure loved it. Number 3, Sith. Since its release, Spider-Verse has consistently proven to be one of the most influential films of the animated medium. Animated by Al Guri, Sith definitely has those Spider-Verse vibes. Perhaps it's lazy to accuse every piece of media that looks remotely like this of borrowing from that film, but I don't see anything wrong with them doing that either. After all, this is a damn fine looking short. The plot itself is incredibly simple, about a past Sith seeking a peaceful escape. It's a neat little concept and works well considering that the visuals really do all the talking here. I mentioned earlier how animated visuals can tap into emotions that we can't fully comprehend, and this is a perfect example of that. Visually, it's a rather abstract short that feels much like looking at a unique painting, and I enjoyed every second of it. Highly recommended. Number 2, Au's Song. If you're sick of Star Wars, I have the perfect cure for you. A sweet little short called Au's Song. Animated by Triggerfish, this short is so entirely unique that if it weren't for the presence of a lightsaber, you would not know this was Star Wars. And frankly, that's exactly what I need at this point. Star Wars content that feels fresh, and unlike anything that we've been conditioned to expect, there's nothing I am more tired of than constant fan service. The animation is beautiful, the textured look makes the world look like an amalgamation of clay and felt, as if what you're looking at was all handcrafted. It's similar to DreamWorks Trolls in a way, only if the characters were cute rather than hideous abominations. I mentioned earlier that I wish Star Wars was more willing to delve into the different cultures of each planet and its residents, and this does exactly that. The short is a beautiful balance of impressive visuals and an effective fantasy story, all while still feeling fairly grounded. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, check out Au's Song. I think that you'll like it. Number 1, Screecher's Reach. Any animation fan should know the name Cartoon Saloon. The Irish animation studio seemingly came out of nowhere and has continued to produce some of the best animated films of the 21st century, so it's no surprise that their animated short also happens to be the best of the bunch. Screecher's Reach is one that starts off rather cutesy, but by the end you've witnessed one of the darkest stories told of the Star Wars universe. It takes inspiration from Irish folklore with its use of a banshee, and even delves into some horror, using animation as a powerful tool to do so. The characters all feel well developed in the short amount of time they're given, and it's got that beautiful, geometrical Cartoon Saloon art style that we've all come to know and love. Despite all of its unique qualities, it feels right at home with the world of Star Wars. It's not just the best short of the series, but one of the best animated shorts that I've seen in a while. I can't express my love of this one enough. It's simply phenomenal, and one that's gonna be hard to beat should future installments of Visions be made. So those are my Volume 2 rankings. Do you agree? Disagree? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. That's what all the other YouTubers ask their audience to do. I hope to see you all again soon. Goodbye.